Mama Abeni, I'm not ready to have this baby. Is there any way you can help me? Mama Abeni looked at Adama with kind but serious eyes. My dear, it's too late to get rid of the baby safely. It could be very dangerous for you. She didn't know what to do, but then Mama Abeni said something that surprised her. If you don't want the baby, you can sell it after it's born. There are people who would pay a lot of money for a healthy child. In the heart of a quiet African village, where the sun kissed the golden fields and the wind carried the scent of fresh earth, lived a girl named Adama. She was a vision of grace. Her skin glowed like the morning sun, and her eyes held the depth of the vast, endless sky. She was not just beautiful, she was kind, intelligent, and filled with dreams that stretched far beyond the horizon. Adama was the pride of her family. Her father, a humble farmer, worked tirelessly under the scorching sun, his hands hardened by years of labor. Her mother, a trader at the bustling village market, spent her days selling grains and fabric, weaving friendships with the villagers through warm smiles and kind words. Though they were poor, their love for Adama was boundless, and their greatest wealth lay in the hope they placed in her future. Unlike many girls her age who were forced into early marriages, Adama was given the rare chance to pursue her education. She was a star in her school, her mind as sharp as the edge of a newly forged blade. Every test, every lesson, she excelled, proving that intelligence and determination could shine even in the darkest corners of poverty. In the same village where Adama was cherished, there lived a girl named Zuwena. Unlike Adama, Zuwena was not known for her intelligence or kindness. She was bold, cunning, and had a way of bending the world to her desires. While Adama spent her evenings bent over books, Zuwena wandered through the village with an air of mystery, her clothes finer than those of most villagers, her jewelry glinting under the sun. At first, their paths barely crossed. Adama had little time for distractions, and Zuwena had little patience for girls who still believed in dreams. But fate has a strange way of weaving lives together. One afternoon, as Adama sat under the old baobab tree reading, Zuwena approached her with a warm smile and a curious glint in her eyes. "You always have your nose in a book," Zuwena said playfully. "Don't you ever want to see the real world?" Adama looked up, smiling politely. "Books help me understand the world better." Zuwena laughed. "Understanding is one thing, but living is another. Come with me, let me show you something." Despite the warnings of others, whispers that Zuwena was trouble, that she walked a path of secrets, Adama found herself drawn to her. Zuwena was different from the girls she knew. She was fearless, independent, and confident in a way that made Adama curious. At first, their friendship seemed harmless. Zuwena spoke of life beyond the village, of grand cities where money ruled everything, where beauty and charm could open doors that education never could. She spoke of dresses made of silk, of golden bracelets that jingled with every step, of a life where one did not have to struggle to eat. Adama listened but never imagined herself in that world. She was content with her books and her dreams, but Zuwena had a way of planting seeds, small, subtle thoughts that lingered long after their conversations ended. "Look at me, Adama," Zuwena said one evening as they sat by the river. "Do you think I worry about where my next meal will come from? About how my parents will survive? Number, because I know how to get what I need." Adama frowned. "And how do you get it?" Zuwena only smiled. "You'll understand soon enough." Despite the unease stirring in her heart, Adama continued spending time with Zuwena. She ignored the quiet warnings of her conscience, the concerned looks from her parents, the murmurs of the villagers. She told herself that she was just curious, that Zuwena was just a friend. But curiosity, when fed the wrong things, can turn into temptation, and Zuwena was leading her down a path from which there would be no return. Days turned into weeks, and Adama found herself drawn deeper into Zuwena's world. The way Zuwena lived fascinated her. New dresses, fine jewelry, and a confidence that came from never having to worry about money. Adama could not help but wonder how a girl from a poor village could afford such luxuries. One evening, as they walked through the village, Adama finally asked, "Zuwena, tell me the truth. How do you afford all these things?" Zuwena smiled knowingly. "Are you ready to know, or will you judge me like the others?" Adama hesitated. "I just want to understand." Zuwena sighed dramatically before saying, I have a friend. He is older, wealthy, and generous. He gives me whatever I want." Adama frowned, confusion clouding her thoughts. "But why would he do that?" Zuena chuckled. "Because I make him happy. It's a simple exchange, Adama. The world is not fair to girls like us. You can struggle your whole life for a small piece of happiness, or you can take what you deserve." Adama felt her stomach twist. She had never imagined such things. Her parents had raised her to believe in hard work and honesty. Yet here was Zuena, living proof that wealth could be gained in ways she had never considered. She wanted to push the thought away, but it clung to her. For the first time, she questioned her path. Was education really the only way out of poverty? What if there was an easier way? That night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling, her mind a battlefield between right and wrong. The dreams she had always believed in now felt distant, fragile. But just as doubt began to take root, fate intervened. She met Jabari. Jabari was nothing like Zuena's wealthy friend. He was young, strong, and hardworking. He worked as a carpenter, shaping wood with steady hands and quiet determination. Unlike Zuena, he did not promise wealth or luxury, but when he looked at Adama, he saw her, not her beauty, not what she could offer, but her heart. For the first time in weeks, Adama felt grounded. Jabari reminded her of who she was before Zuena's influence, before temptation whispered in her ear. He spoke of building a future, of working hard, of love that did not come with a price. For a while, Adama felt safe again, believing she had escaped the shadows creeping into her heart. But shadows do not disappear so easily. She had already stepped too close to the edge, and soon she would fall. Love bloomed between Adama and Jabari like a hidden flower in a quiet field. With him, she felt cherished, her dreams once again within reach. They spent evenings under the stars, whispering about the future, about escaping the struggles of their village together. But love, when rushed, can be dangerous. One night lost in their emotions, they crossed a line they could never uncross. Weeks later, Adama's body began to change. At first, she ignored the signs, the sickness in the mornings, the exhaustion weighing down her limbs. But as the days passed, the truth became undeniable. She was pregnant. Terror gripped her heart. She had always been the perfect daughter, the pride of her family, the girl with a future. How could she face her parents now? How could she face the villagers who had placed so much hope in her? Desperation drove her to Jabari. When she told him, his face went pale. He took a step back, as if the news had struck him like a physical blow. "That's not possible," he murmured. "Are you sure?" Tears burned in her eyes. "Of course, I'm sure. Jabari, we have to do something." But Jabari was already shaking his head. "I can't. I'm not ready for this. My life." He hesitated, then whispered, "I can't be a father." Adama felt the world collapse around her. "You told me you loved me." Jabari couldn't meet her eyes. "I do, but love isn't enough." And just like that, he left her, alone, heartbroken, ruined. She walked home in a daze, her future shattered. The girl who had once been the village's pride now carried a secret that would turn them against her. But this was only the beginning of her fall. Her real descent was yet to come. Her parents knew the moment they saw her. A mother's eyes missed nothing, and her father's silence was heavier than words. Shame fell upon their household like a curse. The village whispered. The girl who was supposed to escape poverty had instead become another sad story, another cautionary tale. To save their family from disgrace, her parents made a decision. Adama would leave. They sent her to Kisiwa, a distant village where no one knew her, where she could learn a skill and start over. It was meant to be a fresh start, a second chance. But Kisiwa held a darker fate for her. There she met Mama Bini, a midwife who helped young girls in trouble. At first, Adama thought she had found a savior. She begged Mama Bini to help her, to make the pregnancy disappear. But Mama Bini only shook her head. "It's too late for that, child." Despair gripped Adama. She was trapped, doomed to become a mother when she was still a child herself. Then Mama Bini leaned closer. "But there is another way." Adama's breath caught. "What way?" Mama Beni's voice was low, careful. "There are people who want children, people willing to pay." Adama recoiled. You mean, sell my baby? Mama Abeni shrugged. Wouldn't it be better for the child? A rich family, a good life? And you wouldn't have to struggle. Adama wanted to scream, to refuse, to run away. But then the thought lingered. A way out, a chance to erase her mistake, a chance to turn shame into opportunity. Slowly her fear faded, and greed took its place. When the day came, Adama felt nothing. She held her baby girl once, just for a moment. The tiny fingers curled around hers, soft and warm, a life she had created. Then she handed her away. In return, gold coins filled her hands. Jewelry glistened before her eyes. She had never held so much wealth. The shame, the pain, the fear, all of it melted into something new. Power. She had found a way to change her life, and she would never go back. Instead of learning a skill, Adama began planning. She did not mourn the loss of her child. She saw only the path ahead. She found another man, let herself fall into his arms, let him believe she was his. When she became pregnant again, she did not weep. This time she smiled, because she knew this child was not a burden. It was gold. It was power. It was her key to the life she had always dreamed of. And so, Adama's descent continued. One baby, then another, then another. Each one bought her a finer dress, a grander house, a richer life. She believed she had won, but karma does not forget, and soon it would come for her. Adama's transformation was swift and ruthless. The girl who once dreamed of a bright future built on hard work and education had become a woman who measured life in gold coins and jewels. In Kisiwa, she was no longer the shamed village girl. She was powerful, respected, feared. Each baby she bore brought her more wealth, and with each transaction, she felt less guilt. She told herself she was giving these children a better life, one in grand homes, far from poverty. She was not a sinner, she was a provider. And if her heart ached in the dead of night, if the ghostly cries of infants haunted her dreams, she buried those feelings beneath silk dresses and the cold touch of gold. She no longer sought love. Men came and went, their purpose clear. She did not care for their names, their promises, or their affections. They were merely a means to an end. In time, she built a grand house in Kisiwa, a mansion unlike anything her village had ever seen. It stood tall, with high walls and golden accents, a fortress of her own making. And when she returned to her childhood village, she did not walk with the shame of an outcast. She arrived in luxury, her garments flowing like liquid wealth, her jewelry catching the sunlight in dazzling flashes. The villagers watched in stunned silence, unable to reconcile the Adama they had once known with the woman who stood before them now. Her parents were proud, though they never questioned how she had amassed such fortune. They welcomed her gifts, the sacks of money she sent, the endless supply of food and fine clothes. In their eyes, she had succeeded. She had escaped poverty, and yet no one knew the cost. Marriage proposals flooded in. Men who once overlooked her now begged for her hand. Chiefs, merchants, even noblemen, all sought to make her their wife. But Adama refused them all. She did not need love. She did not need companionship. She had power, and power was enough. Or so she thought. Because the higher one rises, the harder the fall. And Adama's fall was coming. Wealth can buy many things, houses, jewels, servants. But it cannot buy time. It cannot buy fate. Adama was now a woman of status, and in the eyes of society, a woman of status needed a husband. After years of rejecting suitors, she finally chose Malik, a wealthy and respected man. He was strong, influential, and the only man she deemed worthy of standing beside her. Their marriage was grand, a celebration of power and success. But beneath the golden decorations and lavish feasts, an unseen storm brewed. 2 years passed, and Adama did not conceive. At first, she ignored it. Surely it was nothing. Women took time to bear children, but then the whispers began. She has everything except a child. What kind of woman cannot give her husband an heir? She must be cursed. The weight of those words crushed her. She, who had once carried life so easily, was now barren. The very things she had sold for wealth had abandoned her. Malik's mother was the first to act. She visited healers, priests, medicine men, searching for answers. But there were none. The whispers turned to accusations. She has done something terrible in her past. She has angered the spirits. In the end, Malik's mother made the final decision. Adama was sent away. Just like that, her title as a wife was stripped from her. Her wealth, her power, it meant nothing now. She was alone. And for the first time in years, she felt true fear. The village that once admired her now turned its back. The men who once pursued her no longer glanced in her direction. Her wealth, once a symbol of triumph, had become a lonely cage. And then one evening, as the sun dipped beneath the horizon, a shadow from her past returned. Jabari. Time had aged him, but his eyes still carried the fire of the boy she had once loved. He did not greet her. He did not smile. He simply stared, and in his gaze, Adama saw something she had not expected. Hatred. "What happened to my child?" His voice was cold, cutting through the silence. Adama's breath caught. She had buried her past so deeply that she had almost convinced herself it never existed. But here it was, standing before her, demanding answers. Jabari stepped closer. "I searched for you. I searched for my child, and all I found were whispers. Dark, terrible whispers." Adama's hands trembled. For the first time, she had no words, no lies, no excuses. Jabari's voice shook with rage. "Where is my child, Adama?" A single tear slipped down her cheek, and in that moment, she realized something far worse than being barren, worse than losing her husband, worse than the whispers of the villagers. She had not just lost a child, she had lost herself. The girl who once dreamed of a bright future was gone, replaced by a woman drowning in the weight of her sins. And there was no escaping them now.